Toastmaster, vote counter, all counter. You can do it all today, right?
No.
But welcome, Kyle.
All right, thank you, Guy. All right, how's everyone doing?
Good.
Okay, that's good. Welcome, guests. I'm the president of this Toastmasters meeting. First of all, just I want to remind everyone, Karen is competing tomorrow in the table topics contest, the district contest, and but I think you have to buy tickets to go. Right? Yeah, I don't know if you could. I know it's at the Tampa Airport Marriott, but I don't know if you could just show up and watch. Oh, really? Okay, so yeah, you can show up. Do you know how much it costs? Or yeah, I don't know. But if you want to support her, I guess it's tomorrow, and I think it starts around 7 or 8. So once I get the details, I'll send out an email about that. I want to remind everyone to mark these boards as you complete your speeches, so we can keep track of that. And keep the debate topics coming. I've gotten some really good ideas from people. And I thought of a few new ones, a few new ideas. And you guys can tell me what you think. Gun control, because I know it's kind of an issue right now. People are arguing about it, kind of polarizing. And I can see both sides of the argument, so that could be a good one. And I don't know if this is a good one or not, but should parents spank their kids? I know there's a lot of arguing about that. Yeah. So anyway, think about those. Keep sending me your ideas. And at this time, let's see. Do we have word of the day? Nope. Okay, we'll skip that.
You have it, right?
Oh, do you have a word of the day?
Well, no, I didn't finish it, but I can tell you a word that we were going to. Let me see if I lost it.
Oh, all right.
Okay, word of the day. Sorry, I spoke to my phone. It doesn't.
Oh, it's trying to.
I didn't mean to speak to it. I was going to choose charisma, but then I saw that Jake had signed up for it. So the charisma is a noun, and it means divinely conferred gift of power, a spiritual power or personal quality that gives an individual influence or authority over a large number of people. Kyle has wonderful charisma at our Toastmasters meeting.
Thank you. All right, awesome. So try to use the word charisma throughout the meeting, and we'll snap for you. We should have snapped for you right there. But okay, do we have an invocation?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Which is
Awesome.
yeah.
All right.
Stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And I have a toast. I actually took this from Byron's signature in his email. Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. Albert Einstein. So, there you go. All right. So I wanted to talk about debate again. I actually did this Toastmaster topic before our last debate, but there's a lot of new faces here, so you guys haven't heard it. So first, I want to ask you guys, why do we debate? What's the point of having a debate? Does anyone know?
Open our minds.
Open our minds. Yeah, that's good. Any other? Oh, definitely. Anyone else? Yeah, that could be one. I think it's to get to the bottom of it. I mean, the main point is to try to get to the bottom of an issue, to find the truth, or the closest thing to the truth. You know, because a lot of these issues are kind of in gray areas. that's my take on it. And what are some of the benefits of participating in a debate? I think Rico mentioned one. Any other ideas besides liking to argue? Okay, so to kind of voice your opinion, that's true. I have a few written on my paper here. Working on a team is one. Learning valuable teamwork skills. Were you guys? Oh.
No.
Okay, you're just scratching your head.
Scratching my head.
Okay. I read this online in an article. It says it's excellent preparation for marriage and future jobs. So,
We need to debate more than.
yeah, right. Note-taking skills, organizational skills, both written and verbal, research skills, gain self-confidence, having fun, and critical thinking. So those are some things you can get from debating. And at this time, or actually, okay, I'll go on. I was going to bring up our first speaker, but he's here, right? Oh, okay. Okay, so at this time, I would like to welcome our first speaker.
He's talking like another 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, first, I'll give a little introduction. Our first speaker, he's one of the most eloquent, well-spoken. All right. All right. In a few seconds. Please welcome Byron Hola. He's doing a speech out of the Competent Communicator Manual. We'll give him a couple seconds.
Just keep waiting.
I don't know, these this projector is confusing sometimes. His speech is called
We call him for something.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. His speech is called Homeostasis. Please welcome Byron Pollock.
Sorry for the little bit of stutter stop there. So, homeostasis. That's a really bad title. I'm actually going to change that right here on the fly. We're going to call it self-sabotage, because that's really the point of this talk here. Now, my job, for which I'm thankful for, involves a good bit of paper pushing. So one day, I had to look for a particular form for an account. Let's call it Form 3. So I looked for Form 3 for these particular accounts, and none of the accounts had Form number 3 like they were supposed to have. A large number of them didn't, in fact. So I sent off a large number of nastygrams to these branches saying, you guys need to get that form. And to the branch, they all replied saying the same thing. Byron, you're a handsome and fun-loving guy. That's why we're going to forgive you for badgering us about a form we sent in weeks ago. What? You sent it in? All right, let me check again. So I go and I do a search for each of the particular accounts. And there's form number 7, form number 12, and form number 53-2, and 37-A. All the accounts had a whole bunch of forms, but none of them had the form I was looking for, form number 3. But the response from the field was overwhelming. So I decided to search a different way. And sure enough, there was form number 3 on every single account. The very form that I was looking for was the one that was hidden from me, that I couldn't see. And it took some outsiders in order to point that out to me. So what are you looking for? What do you want out of life? Financial security, peace of mind, bacon double cheeseburger? But seriously, what is it that you're willing to realign your entire life in order to get? Because know this, once you make that choice, All sorts of forces, unseen forces, are going to rise up and work against you to that effect. We're going to talk about one of these forces today, and it's homeostasis. Homeostasis word sounds complicated, but it really isn't, so let's break it up a bit. Homeostasis. The prefix or beginning of the word homeo is just like the word homo and homosexual, same sex. So in this place, homeo means same. Stasis is like station, static, stay, one place. So taken together, this word means one place, or better yet, one or same environment. Okay? It's usually used in biological processes. So here's a tip for you. Science says that we need to drink about 10 8-ounce glasses of water a day to maintain proper hydration. If you want to lose some weight, drink those glasses ice cold, and you will burn 123 calories a day without ever signing a gym membership. Why is this? Because our bodies always strive to maintain the same temperature, which is what? Exactly, 98.6 degrees. So whether you're climbing up the side of a glacier in Antarctica or watching your kids play soccer on a scorching hot field on a Saturday, your body's doing everything it can to maintain that same temperature. Your mind does essentially the same thing. All of us have a good deal of faith in where we're going to be an hour from now. If we didn't, we'd have a hard time taking in the understanding of what homeostasis is, let alone sitting in your chair if you didn't know if you'd be alive or dead an hour from now. So homeostasis is a good thing. It allows our minds to keep a reference point. It keeps us sane, and it keeps our bodies in check. But when it gets rocked, it's a problem. I used to be an Army reservist, a part-time soldier ready to go full-time when the need became great. One day in 2003, while sitting at the desk of my brand new job at Raymond James, a fax came in from our Army unit with the word urgent written across it in big letters underlined and exclamation points. The need had just become great. I was to report to Alabama in 3 days' time to get ready to go who knows where. No big deal. No problem. I was a reservist. I knew this time could come. When George Bush got on the TV and said we were going to Afghanistan, I figured it was just a matter of time. But why could I not keep concentration that day? 105 thoughts per minute kept flooding through my mind, and eventually I had to go to my boss and say, look, I know I'm supposed to be working today, but I'm useless to you right now. When my stasis had been rocked, I could no longer function on what I needed to do right there in front of me. This is a picture of me. It's about 30 seconds after I made what I think is one of the most important decisions in my life. After, of course, my faith in Jesus Christ, my marriage to my wife, and the birth of my children. I made a decision that if I put the time and effort into it that I believed it deserved, my life would not be the same. So no wonder that 30 seconds after that picture, I was seriously considering undoing that decision. Because my heart was pounding, and my mind was racing to 100 thoughts per minute. And the glimpse that I had of a new life, a different life, a better life, began to get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. Unfortunately, that night, cooler heads prevailed, and I was able to carry on with my decision. And since then, I've learned so much about myself, it's inspired me to share this little tidbit with you today. Know this, unfortunately, sometimes life is war, and the opponent that we have to often fight is ourselves. So let's hope that when the day of the battle comes, that hopefully, well, let's make sure that on the day the battle comes, that we surrounded ourselves with people who can see what we're looking for, even if we cannot.
Wow, thank you, Byron. It's a great speech. So please leave any comments you have for Byron. I didn't realize we didn't have the timer, but you're doing it on your phone. Okay. And what was our speaker's time?
5 to 7 minutes. Yep, 6:07.
Okay. So go ahead and vote for your best speaker. And getting back to our topic on debate, I wanted to go over some logical fallacies and Does anyone know what a logical fallacy is? Fallacy.
What's wrong in your reasoning that just like on a basic level doesn't make sense?
Exactly. It's an error. It's an error in reasoning, and I've seen a lot of debates, and I see people use them all the time. So I'll go over some common things to watch out for when you're in a debate. So the first one is changing the subject. So this is when a debater is losing and he tries to redirect the attention of the audience to another subject area where he thinks he can look better relative to the person he's debating. So, for example, if we're having a debate on capital punishment, and let's say I'm for it and my opponent is against it, my opponent might argue that many people have been put to death that were later found innocent. So I might change the subject and I might say, well, Ted Bundy killed a lot of people, so, we should, put him to death, so he doesn't kill more people. So I didn't really refute my opponent's point, I just changed the subject. So another one is questioning the motives of the opponent. So this is kind of like changing the subject. This is another form of changing the subject. If the topic is on the health benefits of a vegan diet, let's say my opponent is against veganism and has a really good argument that it's not healthy, I might question his motives and say, you just like to see animals get killed, so kind of an attack. Does anyone know what a false premise is? No? Okay.
You use something to prove a point when the foundation is kind of rocky to begin with.
That's it, exactly. So, so can you repeat that a little bit louder?
I was just saying you use some basis to prove your point, and that foundation you're basing your whole point on is a bit shaky.
Right. So you're using something to prove your point, but the fact that you use is actually not true. So I'll give you an example. Since 90% of communication is nonverbal, we really have no need for spoken language. So that's a false premise. 90% of communication is nonverbal is kind of a little bit not true. Does anyone know what a straw man is? Okay, Rico.
Well, that's sort of like changing the subject, bringing up something else that's not related that people are passionate about, but it's not related to the
Right. It is kind of like changing the subject. I don't know if you guys have heard of straw man argument, but it's when you, it's basically when you act like your opponent is making an argument that he's not, and then you attack that argument, right? So I have an example here. Person A says, we should put more money into healthcare and education. Person B says, person A hates our country so much that he wants to leave it defenseless by cutting military spending, right? He's attacking an argument that wasn't made. And the last one is a red herring. Does anyone know what a red herring is? Rico?
Let's see, initial stock doctrine
Wait, exactly.
That's what went through my mind. That's why I laughed.
is something false, out of the way. They actually use red herrings for dogs, to train dogs to find the correct fish. We had a ballistic herring that was red and rotten to distract the fish. Something that's distracting. And it's something that's distracting.
Oh, okay. Well, basically that's true. It's just it's an argument or something you say that's used to divert the attention somewhere else. So you'll see this a lot in debates, and I have an example here. This is what I found on the internet. Accused by his wife of cheating. Oh, okay. Accused by his wife of cheating at cards. Ned replies, "Nothing I do ever pleases you. I spent all last week repainting the bathroom, and then you said you didn't like the color." So that's a red herring for you. Anyway, at this time, is our evaluator ready? Okay. So please welcome evaluating Byron Polak, Janice Herring.
Byron, really want to compliment you on is your vocals and the level of your vocals, because I believe every single one of us in this room heard everything you said. And sometimes I've had issues because I just can't quite hear you. And when you started out over here, you were a little bit quiet, you were looking down. But when you came over here, I have to so congratulate you for getting to the point where everyone could hear you. And then you still used your vocals to help you say things. There were points when you said dimmer, dimmer, and dimmer, where you lowered your voice, but we could still hear you say that. So for me, that was a huge accomplishment or change in previous speeches that I've heard you give. So it's just a great thing when we overcome something that I think helps make us a better speaker. So I just want to really congratulate you on that. I think you have a wonderful cadence. I think your speaking style is warm and inviting and genuine and caring. And now that we can really hear you, I think it just makes you even better. Homeostasis, I got to tell you, I wasn't quite sure where we were going with that word. I thought you did a fabulous job of explaining what homeostasis means. I loved the fact that you told stories that we could all relate to, so it kept us with attention to what you were saying. We didn't wander off somewhere and start to think about something else. We were right there with you as you told the story about urgency and being a reservist and how you couldn't think about what was happening that day because you were so worried about the fact that you were going to be called up as a reservist. I think we were right there with you through that story. I would tell you that picture that you used was really hard to see, and I couldn't tell that you were in that picture, so I might leave that out. Now, I'm not very good with a lot of technology either, so that's probably something that would have happened to me too. But your homeostasis slide I thought was fine because we could all see that. The picture was a challenge to see. It wasn't very clear, so maybe to leave that out or tell a different story would be appropriate. But I just wanted to say congratulations. That was speech number 4, and I think you're doing a great job.
All right. Thank you for that evaluation, and please leave any comments you have for Janice. And can we have the time for our evaluator?
2:49.
Okay, so go ahead and vote for your best evaluator. All right, so that's basically all I had for debate ideas, topics. Actually, I wish I had some stuff on homeostasis because that's a topic I'm really interested in. But anyway, at this time, I would like to welcome our table topics master if she's ready. All right, so please welcome. Let's see. Okay, please welcome Jessica Colon.
Good morning. We have a couple extra minutes, and with our word of the day, I can't help but ask that we think about my dear friend Whitney. She has quite charisma to be doing what she's doing, and she's currently flying. She's been flying since about 10:30 p.m., and she still has about 4.5 more hours to her destination. So yeah, please keep her in for your thoughts, prayers, energy, whatever it is you do on this venture and her life for the next year.
Can you mention the thing that you told me to mention while you were sitting up there?
And I'm sitting higher up in the back today because at our last meeting, I ended up sitting up there, and in the beginning of the meeting, there were a number of people that couldn't hear too good. So Byron did a great job today with, as Janice said, making your voice a lot louder, and I could hear you perfect, whereas last week I could not hear you, like maybe a couple words where you spoke. So just to keep that in mind when you're speaking, to be a little louder. So table topics, I think everybody here knows because nobody's new and everybody will participate. There's nobody that doesn't want to participate, right? Okay, so Ilder, that's how you pronounce it, right? Justin and Steve. Okay, so we have about 1 to 2 minutes to speak about. I went to Engage St. Pete last night, and one of the breakout sessions that I listened to was startup businesses. So with that in mind, I was thinking of some slogans that different businesses use. So I'm just gonna say one, and then you can come down and tell me what you think about it, or what comes to mind, or whatever you want to speak about. So the first one is just do it. Brian, just do it.
That was actually the first slogan I thought about when she had that question, so I probably should be more prepared than I am, but I guess just do it to me means just go out and do anything in life you want to, not hold back, not let your personal reservations hold you back because you're afraid of doing something. I think a lot of times fear is what's holding us back from doing something. So if you want a new career, but you've been doing something else for the last 20 or 30 years, you might be afraid to go try something new. Just do it to me means just don't think about your past, just work on your future and try to be successful at whatever you want to do, not let anything else hold you back. Thank you.
I'm loving it. Ashley, I'm loving it.
Well, I guess I could say I'm loving life right now. My husband and I found out several months ago that we are expecting our first child. So extremely excited. Tomorrow we actually get to find out what we're having. So we're planning a gender reveal party tonight after I get off of work for all the little things that I have to do to announce what we're having to our friends and family. We won't know either, so we'll find out when our friends and family find out too. So it's going to be a really exciting moment. So I'm loving life right now.
Thank you for sharing and congratulations. So when I was looking on the internet, I ran across a site that had a couple of slogans gone wrong, it said, or something of that sort. So one of the first ones I saw that I liked was Monopoly, a great way to ruin friendship. Denise, Monopoly, a great way to ruin friendship.
Yeah, well, I would hope that we would realize that Monopoly is just a game and it's not worth ruining friendship over, but I could see how the idea of Monopoly is to acquire all these properties and to charge all these astronomical rents to your friend that you're playing the game with. And I have played the game with people who are brutal, who their idea is to win at no cost. And that's because they're competitive, not because I'm a terrible person or they hate me or something. It's just the competitive nature of the game Monopoly, so that you can learn what capitalism is all about. But I think, I think it's important to learn the skills that Monopoly teaches and to really put aside your personal emotional feelings about the game and to learn what capitalism is all about, to learn what happens when you invest your monies correctly and how it can benefit you in your life.
Thank you, Denise. Redbox. It's not on Netflix yet. Jason?
I'm going to revert to I'm loving it. That's McDonald's, right?
It is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm loving it. So it's odd that when I was a kid, I really loved fast food. And my dad's family used to always make fun of me for my fascination with McDonald's. My dad grew up in Clewiston, Florida. Any of you ever heard of that town? It's down on Lake Okeechobee. It's called America's Sweetest Town. It's known for its cane fields. I always thought it funny that they thought I loved McDonald's. A popular pastime in Clewiston was setting the cane fields on fire. And then, well, they have to burn them yearly, but then young boys in their teens would then chase the rabbits as they came out of the fields. And they're so good at it that they could catch them by bare hand, snap their necks, and then take them home and cook them. So rabbit is a popular thing to eat with my dad's family down there. So is raccoon, possum, turtle, alligator. And as a kid, I wasn't loving any of it. As I've grown older, though, McDonald's doesn't treat me the same way as it did as a kid. So now I'd much rather eat that stuff than I would McDonald's any day. But thank you.
Thanks for the chuckle, Jason. DiGiorno. It's obviously not delivery. Isa? DiGiorno. It's obviously not delivery.
DiGiorno, it's obviously not delivery. Okay, well, it's kind of funny that you say that because the other day I was parked at Bahama Breeze and I saw a DiGiorno's truck there. And they make pizza at Bahama Breeze. Is it DiGiorno or is it delivery? I don't know. What is it? So if I go to Bahama Breeze and I get a pizza, I'm going to be thinking, is it DiGiorno?
Gatorade. Do you have a hangover? Gatorade? Kyle?
You said Gatorade, you have a hangover?
Yes.
Wow, okay, that's a terrible slogan. I actually do have a hangover, though. Some Gatorade would probably help me out. I had a little too much wine last night. Actually, I only had 2 glasses, but they were like really big glasses. And I didn't realize, until I was already pretty drunk. But anyway, yeah, Gatorade is good to drink for a hangover. It's got electrolytes in it. I would recommend Smart Water instead, so you don't get the sugar and the calories and all the other stuff in Gatorade. I mean, in general, Gatorade is terrible for you. Powerade, most fruit juices, the healthiest things to drink are water, coffee, and tea. So that's it. Thanks.
That's it for my slogans, but since we have a little bit more time, I will just say a word, and you can speak what you think about that word. I get this from, I've mentioned it before, I watch A Minute with Maxwell, from John Maxwell. And he sends an email every day, and he has a word sent in by one of his viewers, and he speaks on it for about a minute. So the word is greatness. Justin, greatness.
What was the monopoly?
It's a great way to ruin friendships. I think we can all agree that if you've ever played Monopoly. Now, I grew up middle brother of 2, and let me tell you, nobody wants to be the thimble. So we never even got to play the game before we were fighting. Everybody wanted to be the race car growing up. Or nobody wanted to be the top hat. The thimble was stupid. So I don't know why they put all the little other pieces in there, because nobody wants to be them. That, and I was always cheating as banker. But so I mean, I definitely agree with that, and on so many levels. I don't know if we've ever finished a game, because they always took too long anyway. So yes, they always ruined the friendships.
Thank you. The next word is culture. Steve, culture.
So culture is interesting because a lot of places that I've been, I'm familiar with Clewiston actually because I grew up in Miami, And I moved when I was finishing high school to Arcadia, Florida, which is probably one of the least cultural locations I've ever experienced in life. And so a lack of culture is probably one of the worst things that you can have when you come from a place that's so rich in culture as Miami. But passing through Clewiston, I can certainly appreciate some of the meals that they have, because some of the same things happen in Arcadia. So the tip is never move to anywhere that lacks culture.
Thank you.
Okay. One more.
Okay. And the last word, selflessness. Shireen, selflessness.
Just do it. So, yesterday I was reading an article in the Atlantic magazine, and it was mainly about the gender gap and how women are starting to get more equality, but there are certain things that are still holding us back as women. And one thing they mentioned, among other issues, were our pursuit for perfection. And I actually wrote down a quote in my planner because I thought it was so moving, although I don't remember the quote, so I would have to look at it again. But basically the premise was that we are in the pursuit of perfection, and because of that, we think a little too much about what we're going to do before we actually do it. So one of my goals for this month, because it's easier to manage it in a shorter time, is to do just that, just do it, and get out of my homeostasis and learn to act and not waste any time.
We'll try for greatness again. Rico, greatness.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Well, in fact, I already used that word this morning. I wrote it in an evaluation. And I believe that people have a huge potential for greatness. In fact, that's what a couple of people have said to me, one of which was Virginia Henninger. She was a Toastmaster district governor, and years ago when I was an area governor, she said, you have a huge potential for greatness. And I go, oh, thank you. That's always a compliment you can give to virtually anybody, and maybe anybody for that matter, and say, well, not knowing where you're at right now in your life, I believe that you have a huge potential for greatness. So knowing that, and then a year later, you're a greater, and you still have a huge potential for greatness. So I believe there's no upper limit to greatness. Now I want to talk about Monopoly. When my wife and I were first married, we played Monopoly. Now I'm of Italian descent, but I'm more so American. We don't have much Italianism in our family. But my wife is Mexican-American, and she spoke Spanish before she spoke English, and she has a blood of Mexican culture. In her culture, they like to have fun. And they like to prolong the game. Here, me being an American capitalist, I wanted to win and things like that. So there was times when I could have charged her rent, but she said, no, come on, don't charge me rent. So we had a Monopoly board on our coffee table, and we would fall asleep, and we'd have a card that says whose turn it was. So when we woke up, we would remember whose turn it was. Not only that, we would also have the backgammon multiplier die, 2, 4, 6, 8, 64, things like 32 in there. And we use that also to roll the dice. So you could get 64 plus 12 in your roll, so you could go around maybe twice and get $400 as you pass go. So it's a combination of being very cooperative and being very capitalistic. And we never kept track of who won because the games went on for days or weeks. And then finally we said, okay, it's time to clean up the living room. We moved the Monopoly game out of there.
Thank you. And we'll turn it back over